Humanity, a truly beautiful phenomenon where everyone is welcome, cherished, and accepted. Unless, of course, you're a heretic. Welcome to Millennia, a game about advancing through the ages, engaging in diplomacy, and the peaceful spread of ideas. This video is sponsored by Paradox, and today we're going to be completely breaking this game with religion by converting the entire Earth to Christianity using a few unintended features. So welcome to Millennia, where if the two cave people in skirts weren't any indication, this game takes place over the course of a millennia. So this game is pretty new, and I'm playing an early access version, which means that there are some things which are vastly overtuned, and we are going to be using those to completely break this game. Here we can go ahead and pick our nation. I believe the only real difference between the nations is the buff right over here and some of the architecture. And of course, because we're going to be breaking the game with Holy Crusaders, the only faction we could possibly play as, China. Makes sense, trust me. All right, without further ado, we are now in the actual game map. For those of you who have played Civilization, this should look pretty familiar. We use our units over here to go and explore the various tiles. And we have our main capital city over here, Shanghai, and we can use it to build a town center, which will give us government XP. Government XP is in the top left over here. We can use it to spawn settlers, or we use it in this menu to upgrade our government form. So for example, using 6 government XP to give +1 food in our starting province, or +1 knowledge, and so on and so on and so forth. We also have over here a research system, and this looks a little bit strange. We have only 5 starting technologies right now: workers, scouting, defenses, tribal elders, and farming. And the first one that we're gonna go for is scouting, so that we can get a free unit of scouts. In the bottom right is the next age. So by researching 3 technologies, we can try to advance into the next age. That'll give us a whole new set of technology to research and more options that we can go forward with. Another thing we have are, as you might imagine, barbarians, as well as these little villages we can pick up to give us stuff. Again, very similar to Civilization on that front. The village is holding an auction to sell and trade its people's wares. Sell something to the local. I think you mean rob the locals. The other thing we have in this game is our culture, which is a little bit different to culture as it is in other games. So if I go ahead and pass the turn, we are then going to get access to a cultural ability. We gain more culture powers over time, but right now we can do some local reforms to increase resource production, raise a free army, or just create a town. Towns essentially act as expansions of our main city. So if I put down a town here, now our settlement will start growing around the town and increase our borders. We can also come over here and fight these barbarians, and that opens up a whole combat screen over here, and I'm not gonna lie, it very much reminds me of one of the mobile game ads. Hey, you can't beat me with that club. Of course I can. I have 5 million power in Rise of Kingdoms. So now we've met the United States over here, and I believe if we go down, they are probably right around this area. So now we've met the United States over here, and we could go into the diplomacy and offer them open borders over here. We're not really gonna be making friends in this playthrough. You know, the worst I thought they could say was no. Fair enough. All right, we got the scouting technology, and that spawned us with a free scout, and now we can transition that into getting workers. With our free scout, we can come and explore a couple more of these buildings over here, and over here, we can actually get more improvement points or just get more knowledge. I'll take the knowledge right now, but improvement points are very important. Improvement points are what we use to build improvements in any given area. So if we wanted to build a farm over here on this wheat over here, or a forester on here in order to mine us logs, again, we have to build more improvements. We also just apparently discovered a landmark, so we can send our scout over here and click to discover it. And it is just it's the Sahara Desert next to our capital in China. Now that we have the workers technology, I can come over here, click gather in order to build an improvement, or I can use the bottom left thing and just put down a clay pit. If I go into our city's economy, we can actually assign all of the different workers to the different areas, and here are the goods that we produce. Right now, it's very simple, so if I hover over here, this clay is consumed for 1 production and 1 improvement, but the economy in this game very quickly gets much more complex than this. Now with tribal elders research, we can start moving into the age of bronze, and aging up in this game is very important. It's essentially the entire point and prospect of the game. As soon as we complete the age up, it'll give us more mechanics, more resources, and more all kinds of stuff. And in the left side, you can see that now we no longer just have these government points. So we could use the government points over here to upgrade this, or we could just go in and spawn a settler. We also now have exploration points, which we can use to spawn scouts, as well as warfare points that we can use to, I mean, as much as it says volunteers, we know it's not voluntary. More of these abilities are unlocked over time. So for right now though, we just have the basic ones. Armies in this game also stack up. So as you can see, I have 2 different units in one army, the settler and the scout. And as the game goes on, you research more and more slots for your army. So your armies can go up to 6, 7, even 8 units. We've also got our settler down here that we brought, so we can use them to establish a city, Anyang. And cities in this game function a little bit differently than normal. Instead of directly controlling this one, it begins as a vassal state. In 15 turns, it will integrate into our empire, and then I can go ahead and annex it to get full control. But until then, it is a sort of semi-autonomous city. I can also use my spare government points over here to upgrade our tribal, so we get +1 food, and then I can use it to get another +1 knowledge. There are also these minor settlements right here, which the only real purpose of them is killing them and then taking everything over. You can also use different later game technologies to just annex them outright, but you know, diplomacy is not in our vocabulary for this game. Oh, we even just got another faction up here. Looks like Persia. And yes, indeed, we expect good things to come from this. Okay, well, let no one say I didn't warn you about our existence. As soon as I end the turn and we get into the next one, as our people are killed by barbarians, we get the Age of Bronze and all of its benefits. A new system for trade, a new system for diplomacy and engineering, and national spirits. In the Bronze Age is when we get our very first national spirit, and if I come up here, that is going to let us select one of these. We could become ancient seafarers, naturalists, raiders, warriors, a god king, or even Olympians. And of all of these super powerful ones, we're becoming mound builders. Their special ability is build mound. They might seem a little underwhelming at first, but trust me when I say they are probably the best beginning spirit in the game. On the left side, now you can see that we have even more domains over here. So we have the government domain, the exploration, the warfare, and the engineering. Again, each of these do have their own abilities, and we're going to only keep getting more. The mound builder's spirit functions a lot like this whole tribal tab, where we can upgrade it with government points, whereas the mound builders we upgrade with engineering points. The more of these that we go down, the more advantages we can get. Now that we are in the Age of Bronze, if I go to technology, we have a whole new set of 6 different technologies. We can still go back and research the remaining ones over here. It takes only 2 turns, Jesus Christ. And as soon as we research 3 technologies here, we can move into the next age. Except you'll notice there are 3 different ages instead of 1. Right here is the Age of Iron, which is essentially the standard default age. But above it is the Age of Heroes, which is essentially an optional age. This becomes a variant of the Age of Iron that adds a whole bunch of different new mechanics. And above it is the Age of Blood. It is a crisis age. The Age of Blood specifically will immediately plunge all nations locked into war with each other. Bathe in the blood of your enemies. Seems pretty bad, right? Now, crisis ages are things you definitely want to avoid. Definitely. The Age of Blood is a crisis age that we don't really care about. But further down the line, there are some more interesting crisis ages for our strategy. Regardless, we're just gonna head into our community technology to start being able to make better food and just move on from there. Next to our city is their population, and thus the amount of workers that I can assign around all of the tiles we have. But in the top right, you will see that there are various needs, and the main one is food. The thing is, as our population grows, these needs begin to increase, and instead of just needing food, they begin to need more housing, and then more housing, sanitation, and education, and all different things that add up throughout the ages. Needs maxes out at 200%, which essentially means that we have 200% population growth. Lower than 100% is going to keep slowing down our population growth, and so on and so forth. Now that we're in the next age, we have 2 new mechanics called innovation and chaos. Chaos comes from unrest, so over here, the more unrest we have, the more chaos will develop in our empire. As soon as chaos reaches 100, every turn we have an increasing chance of a chaos event, which, they're pretty bad. And innovation functions the same way. So if I use cutting edge over here, it will give us innovation points. So now every turn we'll get 10 more innovation points until we reach 100. Okay, here's the Zulus, the ones that somehow beat us in technological innovation. I won't pretend to know how they did it, but you know what? Everyone is gonna get invaded anyways. Now that we have community research, one of the buildings it gives us is a mill. Mills convert this wheat over here that we're farming into flour. So if I come over here and I build us a mill, now if I go into our city, you'll see that the wheat is being consumed in order to turn that into flour. And as you probably guessed, later you can refine that flour into even more stuff. As you can see, flour is consumed for 6 food, whereas wheat is only consumed for 3 food. So the refining is vastly more efficient. I just realized there's a wonder that is literally called frozen wastes. Someone walked over there and they're like, look at this glorious landmark. Nothing. And then they freeze to death. Wait, Zulu, your forces are too close to our borders. Okay, let me go check. No, I don't think so. Oh, good. So the people of humanity looked at the world, looked at what they discovered, and were like, what do we need more of? Ah, more frozen wastes. I also realized that now I can get the first mound builder's ability, building our mounds. So by unlocking this, now we get a new construction, which is called a burial mound. And these things are stupidly strong. They give us +2 culture per turn. Culture being the thing that lets us use our culture abilities up here. Also, as you can see, by having more regions, we lose more and more culture. So if I come over here and then I come to civics, now I can go build a burial mound and quickly reassign someone over to that burial mound, which gives us an additional 2 culture. Also, now that our city is 6 population, you can see that there are more needs. So not only do we need food, and we want to have twice as much food as we need, but we also need housing. So now we want to have twice as much housing as we need in order to maximize our population growth rate. Also, Jesus Christ, the Zulus have a massive army up there. We're not really going to be doing a lot of fighting in the beginning of the game because our strategy is a bit more geared towards the mid game. I'm also going to go and spawn another settler over here so that we can expand our civilization once again. Okay, and now the Zulus are declaring hostilities on us. Well, it's a good thing that they literally live extraordinarily far away, but I would really rather not fight them because their army is like 3 times the size as ours. I also researched diplomacy over here, so now I can use this emissary and walk him up to the small town up here. Now we're being threatened by the United States. I don't even have oil. What are you doing? And declaring hostilities. Okay, this is not off to a great start. On the right side though, I got my emissary up here, and emissaries have a couple of abilities. You can use it to integrate one of your vassals. You can also use it to improve relations at someone else's capital. And lastly, you can use it to instantly vassalize a minor nation. Again, vassals are not officially part of our empire in the sense that we can't control them, but they do give us income and do pay tribute every single turn. The same goes to the second city I founded over here that again gives us a little bit of tribute every turn. Now that I've got enough government points as well, I can come into our tribal tab and get our tribalism reformed, which is going to give us a permanent +10 innovation and +2 culture. It also means our government is ready for a peaceful revolution, so later when we age up, there will be other government forms we can get beyond tribal, and if we don't have this civic right here, the only kind of revolution we can engage in is a violent one. Not that I'm opposed to violence. Alright, finally, our innovation is paid off, and now burial mounds will give us +1 improvement points. And this is why this faction is insane. Innovations are not only just general, but they are faction specific very often. So now, on top of giving us a whole bunch of culture, these things also give us +1 improvement points to rapidly increase the number of buildings that we can make. Alright, so now that we have our 3 technologies research, we can go into either the Age of Heroes or Age of Iron. Now, the Age of Heroes gives us hero units and begins to do a whole bunch of weird ahistorical stuff. It's actually kind of cool. But what we want is the Age of Iron, which gives more bonuses to mine improvements as well as the rate of population growth, and gives us a chance to cause a worldwide pandemic. Where have I seen that before? Oh, and now Persia and Zulu are at war. I guess they're up here, which is, I mean, it works for us because I kind of don't like either of them. The main thing we have to do at the beginning of the game is play defensively until we hit essentially not the Age of Iron, but the age right after that, because that is when we get religion. So our engineering now has 35 points, so I can go into our mound builders and get a new thing. And we are going to get +3 sanitation on all burial mounds. So now, not only do these things give us +2 culture, they also give us +1 improvement points and +3 sanitation. Sanitation is a need that happens in the next age, and also when our cities get above 10 population. So we immediately have a building that gives us a crapload of culture, a crapload of improvement points, and sets us up to grow our cities to insane populations anyways. Basically, they're really, really good. Ah, there we go. The Age of... wait, was it Iron? I forget. Oh, and we're the first one as well. Yes, the Age of Iron. So this is gonna put us into the Age of Iron and give us the next set of technologies as well as a new government form. And that juicy gold. And you know, that whatever art is, I don't know. So now we have a new form of government, and we can use a violent revolution to get there, but we're not gonna do that because in our culture powers, we have a peaceful revolution instead. This is essentially just an easier version, which is going to put us into one of these 2 governments. So on the one hand, we have a kingdom, and kingdoms thrive off of making lots and lots of vassals. Vassals being those cities that aren't fully integrated with your empire. But on the other hand, we have the better one for us, which is the imperial dynasty. Dynasty. This focuses on making all of our capital cities really, really strong. And it makes a lot more sense for our strategy of just building up a few cities. So if I select this, now I can unlock the Construct Palace domain power, and because we have enough government points, I can immediately go into the next one to get a +1 food for our farms. Imperial Dynasty governments are very good in trying to, as you can see, +1 housing, +1 sanitation, lots of population growth. And population in this game is easily the most important thing because it is your entire economy. We can also come over here and just try to attack this barbarian camp. You can see the I don't know why it is that our leader is practically a giant. I promoted him to a leader, and he looks like something straight out of the Bible. Also, I'm not sure why we're shooting bow and arrows at a wall, but you know what? If it works, it works. Well, this is the case it didn't work. And in our ages, we've got a bunch of new ones again. So the Age of Plague, which, I mean, as much as it's near and dear to my heart, we're probably not gonna go for this one. The Age of Monuments, which is a very interesting one as well, but again, we want the normal age, which is the Age of Kings. All right, now we can come over here and just fast forward through that, blah, 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 genocide, yada, 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 and take out a barbarian camp, and then get +10 innovation. That's not horrible. I say as I'm fully aware that I'm gonna take the money. Our chaos and unrest is also growing very rapidly, so you can see we're at 26, and as that goes up, we are going to get more chaos. Right now we're okay, but we do need to put garrisons in our cities to make sure unrest doesn't go up. Okay, this step was forced upon us. Yes, you walked up from down here and it was forced upon you. My apologies. Fortunately, I have a lot of money, so I can go ahead and rush out some city guard in order to try and defend a little bit better. All right, it seems like I think we're gonna win these combats over here. Yes, okay, mostly we're fine. They are losing, I think, a pretty, yeah, we have so many militia, my God. All we're using is just sending swarms of militia to their death. Truly the Chinese experience. Nice, I can also come over here and place my palace down, the center of our Imperial Dynasty. Jesus, I was gonna say I wasn't sure what it does, but it generates a lot. Influence is up here, and influence is essentially what we want to absorb various regions in the vicinity into our main city right here. And now we have another innovation, which is just going to give us a flat +1 culture at the palace, which is honestly really good. All right, we should be able to come over here and take out these guys. They're not really all that strong. And then we're just gonna leave City Guard on top of Shanghai because City Guard are extremely good at suppressing unrest. And trust me, there is going to be a lot of unrest. All right, I'm just gonna see if I can make peace with the United States right now because I really don't want to be fighting anyone. I just don't have the money. And that's a no. I mean, they just lost 2 armies and still no. And now they're going to lose 3 armies. All right, so we just unlocked over here the ability to now get up, I believe, another cooking building. Yes, the oven right here. So if we go ahead and build this, now that is going to turn all of our wheat into flour and then our flour into bread. Okay, finally, our mound builders now has a second tradition that we can unlock, and this is perhaps one of the most busted ones forever. For the rest of the game, capitals require half as much food per population. That is absurd. So now if I go into here, our needs are 104% met, which is, you know, basic standard population growth. And as soon as I take this, it is going to immediately be 200% need satisfaction. Food will essentially never be a problem for the rest of the game, and we are just rationing the entirety of all of China and giving almost nobody food. And the population is growing anyways. Now, you should be starting to see why I picked China. The way that we actually get more of these points here on the left side is, for example, warfare by building encampments in our buildings, in our cities, I mean. So, for example, down here, by building an encampment, that gives us 1 warfare XP per turn. The work camp over here gives us 1 engineering XP. The clay kiln we have over here is also giving us engineering XP, so on and so on and so forth. I can also come up here and spawn a merchant way at the top, which is going to be extremely helpful because we can essentially embed merchants at cities and they generate us a ton of money. Okay, why is everyone rejecting all of my diplomatic offers? I'm not that evil. Whatever, it's their loss because now I can go to Imperial Dynasty and get +1 production on my palace for every 2 population, and with 12 population, that is actually doubled our production. Okay, finally, let us put an end to this pointless and destructive war. My brother in Christ, you started it. All right, great. Now that our merchant is over here, I can come over here and put our merchant directly into the city, and they are going to generate me a whopping 19 wealth per turn, which is practically more than all of the income we get from everything else. Oh, you know, I just noticed something. Viral illness in the top left. That is pretty bad, actually. That is one of the ages that we really don't want to get locked into. So, of course, if I come up into my research, we do still have the Age of Plague, so if we don't satisfy our sanitation requirements, we will immediately enter an Age of Plague and screw everything over. Now, as much as I like screwing over the entire world, I don't like screwing over myself, mostly. Again, this is where our burial mounds come in, because that +3 sanitation for practically free and +2 culture is ridiculous. Also, we've unlocked the second most important culture power, propaganda. This will reduce the chaos in all of our territories, which is fantastic because a little later we're gonna have exactly that. Okay, now we get another Imperial Dynasty benefit, which is super good. It is +1 knowledge for every 5 populace in our capital, which is going to massively boost our technology for the time being. And a bit later, we can then get, again, our peaceful revolution to get more culture and more innovation. Innovation is going to be extremely important, specifically for the next age, because there is a very specific innovation that we need to research in order to make most of our strategy much stronger. God damn it, why? Why does everyone hate me? You know what, what's coming is going to be complete karma and justified. Also, probably very horrible. Okay, and now the United States is going to threaten me again and declare hostilities. Haven't we done this already before? Restore neutrality from the Zulu. Sure, I don't even think I've interacted with them for the past like million turns. I'm currently being sieged by America, and I guess now is as good a time as ever to do that. All right, so now we can mostly finish out the mound builder's whole line in order to get our legacy point, because we've got 5 burial mounds, and now we're making 12 culture a turn, which is kind of insane. The other thing we're doing is just building up as many warfare points as possible, because we do get another national spirit in the next age, and you can probably imagine the category that we're going for. I'm also going to annex another one of our outposts and integrate this one over here so that we can start officially mining and getting some actually decent stuff. All right, I've gotten enough text at this point, so now we don't really care about, I think I have everything else researched besides a couple from here, so we're just gonna try and go into the Age of Kings. The Age of Kings is going to give us a second national spirit and religion. And when you combine both of those things into one, you can probably imagine the outcome. All right, I'm also just gonna absorb this outpost over here and oh no. All right, finally, another one, which is shield formation. That will give our line units 2 times defense against range units. That is another innovation that we needed because it is amazing. Now that our population has also reached 16 in Shanghai, we have a 4th need, which is luxuries. So the way these needs work is that they unlock at every increment of 5 population. So the first one unlocks at 0, which means we need 1 food for every person. Housing unlocks at 5, so we need 11 housing for everyone. Sanitation unlocks at 10, and everybody requires 2 sanitation, and luxury unlocks at 15, and everything above 15 requires 1 luxury. The end result of this is that the larger your cities are, the more resources they require to sustain themselves. At the same time, the more workers, the more intricate you can make your economic system for various levels of efficiency in terms of converting things into more refined versions of them. Oh wait, I thought the United States was already at war with me. Okay, you forced this upon us. Again, my country breeds the United States of America. Okay, Persia actually wants to be our friend now. That's surprising. All right, chaos is beginning to go up every turn because enemy units in our land does increase our unrest. Plus, up here is generating a little bit more chaos than I would have liked. Even with 2 groups of city guard here, which are very good at suppressing people, it is kind of hard to keep their spirit down via, you know, a whole lot of swords. So, of course, the solution is more swords. Okay, I don't think a single one of our units have actually fought each other, and there's already peace. Outstanding move, truly. I don't think America's gonna be too happy about this, but to be fair, they did just declare peace, so now we could just put a town literally right next to all of their stuff, and we could just keep trying to get all of the remaining unlocks for our mound builders. We could also expand towns, which essentially levels them up. Towns have an adjacency bonus, which essentially means they generate more money depending on how many things are adjacent to them. And I don't know if we were first. I think someone else just barely beat us to the age up. Yes, India. But now we are in the Age of Kings, which is going to let us build castles, generate more culture, for religious populations and to found a religion. But the most important thing is our second national spirit. So coming up here, we now are greeted with a whole new set of national spirits. We can try and create our Dune empire of our dreams. Go through chivalry, religion, the shogunate, machinery, all that makes a lot of sense. But what about Crusaders? Crusaders seek to conquer other nations' religious birthplaces. So if we come into Crusaders, they give us a very special unit, Knights of the Order. I've also been saving up a crap load of military points up here so we can immediately adopt Knights of the Order. And if I go into Anyang and go to build, I can see that we can now construct these units. They are stupidly powerful. So for whatever reason, these units are classified as cavalry, although they're not really cavalry. If I go into the actual research tree of this age, you can see that we have long swords we can research, pikemen. We have twice as much attack as all of those units. More defense, more movement, and more health. Essentially, nobody is safe. On top of that, if I go into our Crusader tree, we eventually get access to something called the military headquarters. The military headquarters gives all of our knightly units, including our Crusaders, ×2 attack against heretics. Who are heretics? Literally anyone that doesn't follow our religion. We also get a free Knight of the Order right here, and just to judge how powerful they are, this one unit is almost worth this entire army with a leader with promoted ranged units. But of course, we do first need to actually found a religion. I like how the Crusaders came before the religion. They're like, okay, we just gotta wait a couple years. I'm sure something will come along to fight for. Now the United States wants open borders. No. This is the point at which we become the aggressors, and our army is ridiculously busted. And then spend $149 to just rush our culture ability and then get a found religion. So we go to Shanghai and immediately found our religion. And I mean, come on, I have to. So with the religion founded, now a good amount of people, about half the people in Shanghai, will start spreading it. And in 8 turns, we'll also have our professional army, which is great because then we can build a barracks and begin training our actually really good units. And now that I've got enough points in crusading and that we have a religion, I can go and get fervor for the military headquarters. Now, there's also something else I can do, which is a little bit goofy. So if I come into my arts, I can now use a religious celebration and put it somewhere that has no religion. So as soon as I do this, some of the people in the city will begin becoming Christian. This is important. Now when I end the turn, all the Christians in this settlement will have nowhere to worship. So as you can see, we have 0% faith requirement. Now if I go and end the turn, we will have a bit of an interesting event that should proc. And what's this? In the top left, Intolerance crisis? That sounds really bad, right? Well, it's not. You see, if I go into my research, one of the ages we can unlock is called the Age of Intolerance. The normal age is the Age of Renaissance. We get a cool little Age of Discovery, or maybe even an Age of Conquest. Who cares? The Age of Intolerance is interesting because it doesn't just enter you into the Age of Intolerance. It forces everyone on the planet into the Age of Intolerance. Specifically, this gives you different technologies to allow you to get bonuses to religion, less chaos from conquering regions, and not suffer heretics to live. It also gives you more culture from actually having religious citizens of your own religion, and basically turns you into a theocracy. It sounds bad, but it's only bad for everyone that's not me. And again, join us and we will conquer the world. No, I've got that down on my own, thank you very much. The crisis Age of Intolerance is imminent. If you allow your population to live without guidance any longer, you will be forced down that path. Oh no! Sorry, did you say something? I was too busy neglecting the needs of my citizens. And there it is, the invention that I was looking for. So the biggest reason to max out our innovation for specifically this age, specifically with Crusaders, is chainmail armor. This gives all of our Knights of the Order +5 attack and +5 defense, which makes them so ridiculously good compared to everything else. And there we go. The crisis Age of Intolerance is upon us. If our nation controls the future, then it will be a dark one. And then the United States declares hostility on me. Thank you, I was about to do that. So now that we have everything set up, it's time to just mash out Knights of the Order like nobody's business. We've already locked ourselves into the Age of Intolerance, so no matter what we do, the future, or our future, is always going to be this. Assuming we can age up faster than anyone else, the whole world will be screwed. For that reason, I'm just gonna keep using our culture powers to get Eureka in order to gain more knowledge. Eureka does get weaker the more times you use it every age, but it's still worth it for us to just throw everything towards it. Oh yeah, something I never pointed out is that that by getting organized armies, or professional armies, we now have 5 slots in our armies instead of 4, which was previously 3. All right, so I could just rush this military headquarters, and that is going to give all of our knightly units immediately ×2 attack against all heretics. The United States, what will it take to just get you to go home? Nothing. All right, and a few turns later, I have been doing nothing but pumping out Crusaders, and now we have 373 power of Crusaders. So if I come over here, and we're just gonna declare war on the United States, because, you know, why not? And walk over here with literally just Crusaders, and then beat down their walls. Crusaders may not seem all that powerful, but, you know, they're able to destroy walls, so there is that. Oh, they actually almost killed everything in the city. And I didn't lose a single unit, and we practically took no damage. So now we can just come back and walk immediately up to Persia. We're just gonna hit the gatehouse and it dies. And then our Crusaders literally just slam themselves against the walls and we win. 4 population killed, 20 chaos gained, 105 wealth. Well, you know, the Crusader experience. So now we own Los Angeles, which becomes a vassal state. And America looks like they're trying to come over here and defend themselves. I don't think that's gonna work. Okay, and 1 turn later, I don't think so. So of course, our Crusaders, because they're considered cavalry for whatever silly reason, they can move so far across the map. It is ridiculous. I can also go around and upgrade all of our emplacements because we did just research a better version. So of course, I'm going to now immediately buzzsaw into the Age of Intolerance before anybody else can actually get there. Because as soon as we enter this, the world is screwed. If I just keep clicking the button, everything just kind of mashes into this weird... And unsurprisingly, we won and literally took no damage. And we can even go into the Crusader tree now and take a 50% heretical religion conversion on conquest. So now we just force everyone to be in our religion as soon as we take the city. My cities are in disarray. I mean, we're losing sanitation. We have no religious happiness. I don't even care. I'm just training Knights of the Order because that's the only thing that matters. I mean, you can see all the units that they have, but nothing comes even close. I mean, most of this army's power is just 2 groups of Crusaders. The crossbowmen don't even matter. Oh, yeah. Oh, it looks like Chicago is sitting over here. We'll just walk up to it and completely obliterate the garrison. And there we go. Also, we're sitting at plus 38 chaos per turn. I'm not gonna lie, guys. That's kind of bad. We are causing so much turmoil over our entire empire that basically every 3 turns there will be a chaos event. And the best part is, Crusaders aren't our best unit. We get another one. Oh, that's not good. A knight has rallied dissidents outside the borders of China's regions, declaring themselves the nation's rightful rulers. They must be taught a lesson. If I click accept, what will happen is that massive armies will spawn at every single province all around the world. Well, ours. And they're hostile. And they try and kill us. However, because I have so much money, what I can do, instead of taking on chaos events, is just paying them off. Declaring yourself China's rightful emperor? Here's $600. Go away. As unfair as that sounds, it's completely unfair because it is so broken. Man, we are using Crusaders to attack over a river into pikemen, and we are still killing them easily. These fights aren't even remotely close. Like, we're not even losing any Crusaders. All right, another day, another peasant garrison completely decimated. All right, well, now it's time to just siege down their capital, Washington. We're just gonna, again, throw masses of Crusaders at the problem. And how does that work? Okay, see, now we're actually losing units. Of course, when I come in with the second group of Crusaders, it's a lot less close. 9 population killed. God, that's half the region. Now, guys, I know the chaos might look bad. It's plus 62. But I have a solution. It's called, I'm literally not gonna care. Oh, look, another chaos event. Druids this time. If I accept, it'll basically starve us. So again, money. So finally, we have reached 200 warfare points, which is practically max. I think it's a little overdue. I do something that I've been meaning to do for this whole game. Go on a crusade. So by taking this, now in our culture powers, we have Crusade. And this ability is so busted. Research? Who needs it? Production? Ah, that's for losers. Whipping out an entire army of religious fanatics at any location in the map instantly? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Oh, did we reach it? As you can see, everything just turned red. Yes, we did. We were the first people to reach the age, which means we throw everything into disarray, with an Age of Intolerance. Oh, look at that. That's a really cool book club meeting. Now we are in the Age of Intolerance, which means everything is ruined. There's a new system for social fabric. That's not important. Nobody cares. More buildings in this age require having state religions. And in the Age of Intolerance, we want to kill heretics. And we get new governments. So coming over to our cultural thing, now we can enter into a peaceful revolution and go from our shogunate empire into a actual empire. Both the monarchy and the republic are fine, but none of them are nearly as good as this one. Expansionism, imperialism, imperial bombardment, the sun never sets. Everything in this tech tree is amazing for us. So of course now expansionism, whenever we conquer capital, that's plus 30 culture. Now what does that mean? Well, plus 30 culture gets us even closer to getting a crusade. That means that every time we take one of these cities, we immediately get a fourth of the way to getting another crusade. And more crusades means we conquer more cities. You can see how this gets very dumb very quickly. We've also unlocked a system called the social fabric system. What this essentially does is allows us to spend points in order to customize our society to a degree. So if I put points in organization, it makes it so we expand faster. Insight reduces research costs. Ingenuity makes it easier to build improvements. Tolerance increases our wealth. And community reduces unrest. But the best one is military. Upkeep costs minus 8% for every point you put in it. So that means that if you get all 10 points, your upkeep is minus 80%. So not only are those Crusaders extremely strong, reproduce faster than literal rabbits, but now they're also basically free. What's really cool about these different ages is that they do actually have some degree of customized technology depending on which age you enter into. So if we entered into the Renaissance age instead, or we entered into a different age, then we would have slightly different technology options than what we have now, affecting essentially the rest of the game too. And as you might imagine, the very first thing we want to have is status quo, in order to give us inquisitors and religious schools, and also giving us the ability for a radical inquisition that nobody expects. One of the downsides of this age, though, is that if we don't fulfill our religious requirements in terms of faith, everyone will rise up and try and kill us. On the flip side, everyone else has to deal with the same exact problem. So although we're the only ones with religions, they're not going to be able to access half of the tech tree because they don't have state religions. And when they found state religions, we immediately get times to attack against them. Okay, we are getting plus 60 chaos every turn. I'm gonna run out of money at this rate. And now that we've maxed out our culture, and we've pretty much only got, I think the US only has, literally one region left. You know what would be a great idea? I just need a couple more units. So let's just call a crusade in way up here in the north and immediately spawn in a massive army. And you could probably imagine the target. All right, and it looks like Seattle is the last hope of all of America, so that should be gone immediately. And the US is dead. Well, another 4 turns have passed, and guess what time it is? To spawn in a new army of Crusaders. God, this is so broken. All right, at this point now, it's about time where we should just keep declaring hostilities and then eventually war on Persia, who is our northern neighbor. Oh God, agnosticism. Okay, now I know you don't believe in a god, but here is a bunch of money. Checkmate, atheist. Also, let's just spawn in another crusade. Persia's like, hey, maybe we could still be friends. I get the feeling that may not happen. We also haven't even met like half the factions in the game. I think there's 8 nations and I've only met 3. Everyone else is choosing to not make contact with us out of their own safety. Also, let's just obliterate Persia. How convenient of them that they only have, actually, they don't even have walls. They just got peasants in a tower, which is, you know, not really very good. Also, I believe this is giving us more culture every time we do it. So it was 2 turns until the next crusade there. And now that I take over this place, assumedly, yes, it is now only 1 turn until my crusade. I literally spawned one in last turn and I'm gonna get one next turn again. The best part about the crusade is that we can call this on top of settlements we've just conquered. So I just took Susa and now we've got 4 more units of Crusaders. Okay, I also didn't even realize that they could literally move this turn, and then immediately take another city, and we're already only 3 turns away from another crusade. I think the most amazing part is that these really tiny cities that have just been founded also count towards our crusade, so immediately we take them, and I think if we take one more city this turn, we get a crusade again. And now that we have status quo, I can actually start promoting these town guard, you know, these very normal people, immediately into inquisitors, where they are really, really good at suppressing every kind of public order loss and religious loss. So I'm only 1 turn away from a crusade, so now we can just try and attack this maxed out city over here. And again, our bear swords are just destroying walls. The power of the Holy Spirit. I can also come down here and begin integrating Washington into our empire. It is going to increase our culture upkeep from -12 to -20, but I also don't really care, so I'm just going to do it. Our culture is so high, it's really barely affected. And it's so high that, oh heavens, look at the time. Oh my god, they don't even say a chance. It's just, you know, casually bringing 1 stack of fully chevroned up Knights of the Orders with 450 power. And, you know, the result is pretty much expected. Well, it shouldn't come as much of a surprise that now we get to attack Alexandria and they don't stand a chance. And now Persia's dead. In a matter of, okay, how many turns did it actually take to completely wipe out Persia? I mean, they owned everything all the ways down to right here. Now, my population is a little tired from all the wars we've been fighting, you know, +3.2 war unrest. So we will take a break for 1 turn so that I could research the Holy Order. This is where we get access to a unit that is completely broken. If you thought Crusaders were good, cause they are, now we get something so much better. And no, it's not these cannons. These cannons suck ass. Holy Avengers. These units are kinda nutty. They have ×2 attack against religious heretics. Now, that might seem pretty good. I mean, all of our Crusaders have that. But what makes this version of it even better is that when I go into our build tab, you will notice that it's not just ×2. It's actually ×2 and then another ×2. Because these count as knight units for the purposes of our Crusader tree. Their base ×2 attack essentially means that they walk up to cities, knock on the door. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? No? One of the big reasons why I took this empire kind of government is because we get these send never sets, -1 culture upkeep per region. So normally you can see there is a pretty massive cost in terms of culture upkeep for every region you have. Right now it's -20, but as soon as we get the empire ability, it will bump all the ways down to only -13. This is important because this number goes up exponentially. So if I try and integrate Los Angeles over here, it goes from -13 to -20, and so on and so forth. Something else you could do when you reach maximum on any of these points over here is you could spend all of those points to increase points in your social fabric. So for example, here we could increase our military, bringing it from 3 to 4 and increasing that upkeep reduction. Right now it's -32%, which is kind of insane. I've also built our very first group of Holy Avengers over here. It's, well, it's actually just 1 guy, but this 1 guy has more attack power than an entire military on his own. Now that we've researched 3 technologies, we could go ahead and advance into the Age of Enlightenment, but I'm just not gonna. You see, in Age 6 is actually when that crusade power becomes obsolete. So instead, I'm just gonna keep the world in an age of intolerance and darkness so I could continuously crusade forever. It's pretty good. Okay, I have Holy Avengers over here, and I haven't even researched horses. It costs 0 turns. There we go. Congratulations, me. All right, and finally, we're just going to declare war on the Zulus, and then immediately walk over here and bust down all their castles. All it takes is a bunch of really, really religious men to, oh wait, hey, they have a leader. Or, you know, they had a leader. Another thing about researching a crisis age is, again, when I come into here, you can see the Zulus are also stuck in the Age of Intolerance. I'm not just screwing myself over. I'm making sure everyone is screwed over. Remember, it's not about making the world a better place for me. It's about making the world a worse place for you. Oh my god, I didn't even notice. This is the final Zulu Zulu village, and it's right up here. I actually moved all my armies away, but, well, I mean, all my armies, quotations. And I can even move in there this turn and also take the city. And now kill the Zulus, okay. So with all this land we have on the one continent, you know, I've been doing a little bit of grinding, and I have used the Crusade ability, every culture ability for the past 40 turns. Using our Empire path, we get access to galleons, and I'm just starting to build a navy up over here, and now we're just gonna set sail across the sea and destroy everything. I mean, all you have to do to sail across the sea is just load up every single person on an entire continent, give them swords and call them Crusaders, and then show up in Japan. Okay, unfortunately in the top left, we've got to get moving because it seems like India is going to research the Age of Enlightenment. Now that is also going to plunge us into the Age of Enlightenment, but there's nothing that can beat this. And it looks like the nation we met is Japan, Greece. Okay, so what religions are they? They are not Christianity, I see. Well, this makes everything pretty easy. I'm just declaring hostilities with every single nation I come across because there is physically nothing that could actually beat us. A 4-nation alliance is over here, and no, we're just gonna unload on their shores. Don't mind us right here. We're just you know, taking a little camping break. Wait, an innovation? The Inquisition? Spawn 1 Inquisitor at each region in China? This is giving me something I didn't even know I needed. What will it take for you to go home? I don't know, man. It's a long drive home. I'd rather just conquer your entire nation instead. The best part about crusading is that even though this is the regional capital across the sea, I can still spawn in more Crusaders. Literally nothing they have beats any of my units. This is so insane. Okay, I didn't realize it, but all of these Inquisitors that just spawned have literally tanked my economy. They cost too much money. On the bright side, we will literally never have an issue with public order ever again, or religion, or pretty much anything that involves violence and our citizens. Okay, I think we're out of the Age of Intolerance, unfortunately. Yes, we are actually out of the Age of Intolerance. Somehow India was able to bring us out of it, and now we are in the Age of Enlightenment. Now this is a problem because it slowly converts religious populations to non-religious. The thing is, I don't really care. We have Inquisitors now in every single province. It doesn't matter. And because we haven't advanced to the Age of Enlightenment, we still get the Crusade ability. Oh my god, you know what I'm realizing? We're entering an education crisis, and then we're gonna go into the Age of Ignorance. The thing is, I haven't even aged up. I can't even get education satisfaction. Our people are gonna be ignorant forever, which is fine, but it does mean we're probably gonna have to advance into the Age of Enlightenment and lose our Crusade ability. But we do keep all the Crusaders we still currently have, and it's a lot. Okay, they are seriously bringing a lot of units to bear right now, but it's just no one can beat the marauding hordes of Crusaders. I am getting plus 122 chaos every turn. Things cannot physically be worse for the world right now. Wait, I just realized in my Crusader tree, yes, I actually stole both the birthplaces of both the other religions in the world. All right, now we are finally the Age of Enlightenment, so we get another national spirit, which is pretty great, specialist, which is another kind of resource, as well as education. And we're not gonna do much of that last one. In the Age of Enlightenment, where we got all these commanders, scholars, inventors, colonialism, and the thing that we're going for is war priests. So we went from Crusaders, and now we're Aztecs. Trust me, it makes sense. These guys also get lots of bonuses to religion, essentially. Over here you can see, killing an enemy unit applies flower wars on capital targets, increases state religion beliefs. And we can get Jaguar warriors, who are essentially stronger versions of most other kinds of line units. So where everybody else is getting guns, we're just swinging clubs at them. So you might be wondering, how exactly are we going to win the game? Well, it's simple. We're gonna enter the Age of Harmony. With all the peace and tranquility that we've spread across the continent, it only makes sense that we can enter the Age of Harmony because the win condition is convert 2/3 of the world's total population to a religion I have founded. World peace was once thought impossible. I wouldn't be so sure. All right, it's official. As soon as I use this social doctrine right here, I can go into my fabric and and we are maxed out on military. So our military is only 472, but then we add back 340 because it just doesn't cost anything. Okay, and with that, we have destroyed both Japan and Greece, leaving only India and Russia. Oh, actually, no, Japan is still alive. But honestly, it doesn't really matter because we are up to 38% of the world population following our religion, and I haven't even converted everyone in my main homeland. On an unrelated note, let's research human sacrifice. Now I can come into one of my regions and, you can see it's got some Shintoism, some Christianity and Buddhism. Well, what happens if we just add a human sacrifice in there? Now it is almost entirely Christianity. I wonder who we sacrificed. Oh my god, this ability is insane. So I just destroyed an army over here, and it immediately converted the entire population of this city to Christian. And now we can begin entering the Age of Harmony, which will basically be our victory age, which means it'll allow us to win the game. All I have to do is essentially go into a battle, kill the entire garrison, and everyone in the region immediately converts to Christianity. As you can see, we killed 7 population and everyone is now Christian. Oh my god. Hinduism, 2 people following it, and I own the religion. Shintoism has 20 people following it, and I own the religion. Buddhism has 22 people following it, and India controls that. Meanwhile, Christianity has 355 followers. I own it. My god. I just started going around to every province and using Radical Inquisition on it, which is apparently ridiculously good at, immediately turning provinces into Christian. I have killed so many people in this entire world that everyone just immediately said, you know what? You got me. I'm Christian now. There are 357 Christian pops. We've almost completely gotten rid of every other religion. I consider this a win. And so too does the game, because as soon as I end the turn and we get into the Age of Harmony, achieve victory when 66% of the world follows your state religion. Okay then, I guess, here I go killing again. Fortunately, this entire age is literally just built to get religious stuff. We have proselytization, religious diplomacy, all kinds of crap, and then, other science. I'm just gonna immediately go around and suicide every single one of my guys over here, all of my inquisitors, in order to convert as many people as physically possible to my religion. Okay, I was gonna go make peace with India because we have a couple more people to convert besides them, and I realized that Russia and Japan are still in the Age of Intolerance. That is 2 ages ago. I did not realize how badly I destroyed this planet. Well, we are in 1773 AD, and Christianity is basically everything. We have 64% of the global population, and with one last culture bomb, I can use one of our new abilities, Religious Ceremony. Spreads your state religion to every region. And as soon as we use that and pass the turn, that should pretty much end the game immediately. And, oh my god. It went up to 76%, and we win. And all it took was a lot of proselytization, spreading our religion of peace by causing human sacrifices, many heretical inquisitions, and killing so many civilian populations, I actually lost count. Well, taking a look at the map as it is, you can see that basically everyone, there wasn't really a whole lot left for us to conquer up there anyways. I mean, if we come back to our own region, we owned basically everything in the world. Either way, this was pretty fun. This video is, of course, sponsored by Paradox, but I did actually have a pretty good time playing this and completely breaking this game. Next week, I have releasing a very special challenge I did on the channel in Total Warhammer 3. So if you want to see that, be sure to subscribe, click the bell thing, and all of that other YouTube gabalanzalo goobaloo boogadoo. Thanks for watching. See ya.